Today's lesson is about homelessness in the USA. So today what we're going to be talking about throughout this video is what factors influence homelessness in the city. Okay, so on your note sheet, we're going to watch the video, and I want you to think in your head, why would Amazon want to build a new headquarters in our area of Arizona? And why do you think so?
Welcome back. City leaders across North America are going to great lengths to attract Amazon's new headquarters, submitting their final pitches ahead of tonight's deadline. Jeff Flock is in Chicago with the very latest on all of the extraordinary bids. Jeff, over to you.
It's amazing. I come to you, Maria, this morning from the renovated lobby of what was once the world's largest post office building in Chicago. This potential site of the Amazon HQ2, massive building, 2.7 million square feet. That's just what Amazon needs, a real big building. Of course, this is not alone in its pitch. If we put up the map with little dots of all of the cities and towns that have made pitches and are making pitches today, we wouldn't be able to see the map, actually. That's just a small number of all the people out there. Of course, the prize is huge. We're talking 50,000 potential jobs with average compensation of $100,000. Amazing. Atlanta is mentioned as a key one as well. Boston. Of course, speculation is rampant, but who knows?
They all want that 50,000 jobs that this new headquarters will bring. Jeff, thank you. We'll be watching Jeff Flock in Chicago.
So now I want you to take a moment and I want you to think, is this a great thing to have, or is this not the greatest thing to have in our communities? Now that you've answered that, now go to your note sheet and we're going to look at the first page here. So it says each year thousands of people move to New York City to start a new job. The following graphs show the median annual income and the average annual rent. So what we have here is our annual income, average annual income, and this means on average how much people make each year in New York City, as well as the annual average rent. So since 2010. So 2010 starts right here on this axis of 0, and then this is 2011, 12, 13, 14, and so on and so forth. What can you conclude from these trend lines? So what can you conclude based on these dots? Are people better off or worse off? So take a moment, pause the video, answer for New York, and then I'm going to show you Los Angeles and Seattle. Now that you have looked at the annual income for New York and the annual rent and wrote your answer, this is what it's compared to with Los Angeles. So take a moment. Do you notice that people in Los Angeles, are they better off or worse off? Now let's look at Seattle. Do you think Seattle is going to be about the same? Do you think they're going to have more of an annual income and more of an annual rent, or either or? They have higher, lower rent? Well, let's see. So it looks like for Seattle, they have a better off wages every year. So the annual income is much higher than everything else. It's about $44,000 a year versus the annual rent, which is about a little bit $14,000, $15,000. It's really small versus the $25,000 and the $14,000 in other cities. So take a brief moment, answer that question. Which state do you think that they're better off in as well? So now we're going to look at question number 2. The graphs now are going to change. So the second question on your thing, it says the graph below shows the relationship between rent in New York City between 2010 and 2019. What do you think the slope tells us? So the slope of the line, remember slope is always M as in monkey, and it's always attached to the letter X because it's always increasing or decreasing each year. So in New York City, they make about 1,973 every year. That's how much of an increase they get each year. And looking at the rent, it started out kind of low, so people in the $48,000 range of annual income only paid about $25,000 versus the people that made $65,000 paid $42,000 in rent. Why do you think that is? Yeah, more space, more income, more money, right? If you have more money, you can buy a nicer place, and then the rent's going to go up even more. Any of those possibilities. So looking at Los Angeles, it's about the same, right? They're going to have more annual income, and the more money that you make, the higher your rent. While in Seattle, the more money or annual income that you have, the less your rent is, it looks like. So as you get closer to making $1 million, your rent's only going to be $26,000 a year. That's pretty sweet. I think I'd want to move to Seattle. But you also don't know the conditions there, so there's a whole bunch of different factors. So now we're going to move to question number 3. And just so you are aware, 500,000 people are experiencing homelessness at any given moment of the day. So any day of the month, any day of the second of the year, anything. Many people had homes or lost their homes because they couldn't afford the rent. We're going to watch a video real quick about these people. So get prepared.
Either run completely out of money with the rent going up again, or live in my truck. I find a restroom, comb my hair, brush my teeth, wash my face. I have a suit to make people more willing to speak with you, hire you. So, here I am.
In large cities such as Los Angeles, the homeless population is growing. And while many factors contribute to homelessness, one major cause often goes overlooked: the crazy cost of rent.
Couldn't afford to pay the rent. It kept going up. $700, $1,500. Now these places are $2,000, $3,000. There's nothing else to do.
Few people have seen this problem as directly as the Union Rescue Mission CEO, Andy Bales.
Now, there is an absolute correlation between rising rents and homelessness. For the first time in our history, homeless women and children far outnumber men, especially single women, just absolutely exploded. 500,000 people in LA are a half a paycheck away from losing their home. It's the worst man-made disaster in the United States.
How do we prevent more people from winding up on the streets because of rising rent?
I know families that live in their vehicles, and they're working. It shouldn't be that way.
So now that we've watched this heart-wrenching reality of people can't afford to live in their houses or apartments or anywhere because the rent is so high in these cities or states. So now we're actually going to look at the numbers and see what the total homeless people are each year. So since 2010, in 2010, 53,000 people were homeless in New York. And it also almost gets to about 83 or 82,000 people as of 2019. Now, for Los Angeles, it's a little bit lower. They only had 33,000 people in 2010 that were homeless, and in about 2019, 56,000 people were homeless. And let's look at Seattle. They kind of stayed pretty low. They had barely 9,000 people in 2010, and barely 11,000 people in 2019. That's not a super high increase for the homelessness in Seattle. But what kind of factors do you think would affect these other cities? Why do you think more people in Seattle and New York are homeless than, New York City and Los Angeles are more homeless people versus Seattle? So take a minute, and I want you to think about what could happen in the future. What do you think these equations are telling us? Do you think there's a trend? What do you expect something like this to look like in 2020 of last year if we looked at the numbers? So take a brief moment, even look at the total homelessness people, an average rent here too, or even the sheltered people. There's more sheltered homeless people in New York than in Los Angeles. So just take a brief moment and look at these. I'll put sheltered and unsheltered homeless people so you can see. So now that you've answered that question, what we're going to do now is move to your fourth question here. So in 2017, internet giant Amazon announced that they'd build a second headquarters somewhere in North America. They promised 50,000 jobs for people, and they'd be calling it H2Q, the second headquarters. If you were a mayor of our city of Mesa or Phoenix or wherever you live, or even of the governor of Arizona, what factors would you consider in deciding whether you want Amazon in your area? Do you think it would prevent how do you think it would prevent or address negative consequences to homeless people? Do you think it would improve? Do you think it would make it worse? What are you thinking in your brains? So I will put here the total homelessness versus annual income. Again, these are all the same graphs that we've been looking at, and I'll put all three of them here. So as you notice, and I'll give you a second. As you notice, or can recall, at the beginning, the first video that we saw, Seattle was the one that created the first headquarters. You can see that they have a lot less homeless people, and they're making money. They're making about, what an average person would make in a year. It's pretty interesting. So take a second. Would you want an Amazon headquarters to be there and supply us 50,000 jobs in Arizona? So fun fact before you end the video. They actually created the second headquarters, or in the process to. They decided that they were going to build it in Virginia, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of near DC, or Washington, DC, the actual mark, not on the East Coast, not the West Coast. They are actually, in my opinion, probably building it there because there's a lot of homeless people around Washington, DC. So think about that. Should they build a third headquarters here? We don't know. But that's all the lesson for today. Make sure your notes are filled out. If you wanted to, the link that is required for the slides are these videos that we watched. So if you couldn't hear them or you wanted to rewatch them and gain some insight, both of those videos are there for you.